Hello! My name is Callista, and welcome back to Dragon Age Inquisition. In the last episode, we met Celene's occult advisor, Morrigan. It is very good that she is returning to the series. I missed Morrigan. I like her. Now then, we are in the ballroom, just having a wee chat with everyone. We've spoken with Gaspard. We also have to talk with the ladies-in-waiting and Ambassador Briala. And I hope that Liliana is somewhere around here. I thought she was. I could be mistaken, but I thought she was around here. Oh, Celene. Now we can't speak to her. We'll just leave the Empress be. But hello there.
Inquisitor, to what do we owe this honor?
We will be happy to assist you if we can.
Her Imperial Majesty is unfortunately occupied at present.
Okay, let's discuss an alliance. I have questions. Can I ask about the talks? I found something. Again, I said this before. I think Aenor, for right now at least, she wants to keep the things she's found very close to her chest. Can we ask about the talks?
I'd like to know more about the negotiations.
Why hold a ball? Tell me about the leaders. What are Celene's goals? All very good questions.
It seems strange to hold peace talks during a ball.
Oh, do your people have no customs surrounding great occasions? How sad.
By Orlaisian tradition, moments of great solemnity are celebrated with revels and feasts.
While joyous occasions are given time for reflection and contemplation.
We must never forget that life is both bitter and sweet.
The ball is an opportunity to celebrate life and hope for the future, while we mourn those killed in the war.
An interesting way of looking at it.
What can you tell me about the other parties involved in the talks?
Gaspard is a decorated general, much beloved by the Imperial army, and a legend among chevaliers.
He is better suited to the battlefield than the throne, and he would gladly make his palace a war camp.
He's also fiendishly charming.
Lady Briala has great intentions to change the lives of the elves for the better.
Even if her plans could never work and would only provoke hate crimes against alienages.
She is an idealist, but her lack of patience could prove disastrous.
Here's the thing, the way this lady said that, like, oh, even though her plans could never work and it would only provoke hate crimes, like, the clear disdain that this lady has for Briala and for perhaps, you know, elves in general. On one hand, I'm like, perhaps her hatred is clouding her vision, but at the same time, if that hatred is shared by most of Orlais, then, you know, just saying, oh, we have equality immediately, that would provoke hate crimes. Like, these things take time, and that is frustrating. Saying that, like, oh, to create equality, that is gonna take time, because, you know, like, oh, but we're suffering. We are suffering here and now, and we are suffering so much. What do you mean it's gonna take time? You are condemning us to these awful, awful things. Why can't you do it now? I get where everyone's coming from. I get where Briala is coming from. She wants equality for her people, but the rest of Orlais, they aren't going to change their minds overnight. It takes time. Oh. Yeah, and what are Celene's goals?
What is the Empress trying to accomplish with the negotiations?
Peace is her only objective, Inquisitor.
Gaspard and Briala are driven by personal ambitions, but those desires threaten the safety of all Orlaisians.
The war must end tonight. We must conclude this to deal with the larger crisis.
Yeah, we have questions.
Perhaps you could tell me something then.
Yeah, who exactly are you three?
We haven't been properly introduced.
How rude of us to forget.
Milady Inquisitor, may I present Lady Couteau?
And Lady Colombe.
And of course, Lady Fleur. We are the Empress's ladies-in-waiting.
And can you tell me about Celene?
I'd like to know more about Empress Celene.
Her Majesty has held the throne since she was just 16 years old.
She is respected and beloved, not just in Orlais, but across Thedas.
She doesn't care much for liver, and she drinks her tea black.
This lady sounds so bitchy. I'm loving her. I have no idea which one you are, but like, I approve. The only one I know is this is Lady Fleur because her name was above her head a few minutes ago. Here's the thing, out of everyone, I think Aenor would be like, okay, well, clearly we need to ally with Celene. She's the current empress. We have no right to be trying to force her off her seat. So I think, you know, Aenor's thinking, okay, we need to ally with her. But I do think she is getting the impression, right now Celene is weak. That's the problem. Celene got to this position because she doesn't have any solid allies. We need to fix that. If Celene remains on the throne and nothing else changes, then we're going to end up in this exact same position all over again. Yeah, I do think Aenor would breach the topic.
If the evening ends favorably for the Empress, how does the Inquisition benefit?
Her Imperial Majesty brings the might of the Orlais Empire with her friendship.
She is also a respected diplomat and world leader. She can forge alliances for you with Rivain, Antiva, the Underfells.
And she throws the best parties.
Nice. Great.
Good evening.
Until next time, Inquisitor.
Do take care.
Enjoy the masquerade.
Aenor won't. She will absolutely not enjoy the masquerade. And last but by no means least, Ambassador Briala.
Inquisitor Lavalin, how many of the guests have mistaken you for a kitchen servant? You haven't dazzled the court this evening, but at least you've avoided embarrassing yourself. Well done. What brings you to me?
I mean, I think that's the best Aenor can hope for, let's be honest. She's not dazzling the court, but she hasn't made herself look like a complete twat. Can I ask about the talks? I want to know more about you. I have learned some things. To be honest, I think if there was anyone that Aenor would be willing to share information with, it would be with Briala. I do think that Aenor, she wants Briala to succeed. Briala could do so many good things for the elves of Orlais. Yeah, let's ask about the talks.
I want to know more about the peace talks.
Yeah, tell me about the leaders.
What can you tell me about Celene and Gaspard?
Gaspard is a warmonger. He served in the war against Ferelden and fought a dozen skirmishes on the Navarran border. He's a simple man. Simple men aren't hard to manipulate. Celene is the voice of reason in the Empire. But reason is cautious. Reason looks for compromise. Reason doesn't choose radical change, however sorely it may be needed.
It is needed, but radical change can often lead to widespread bloodshed. And that wouldn't be great either. And yeah, can you tell us more about yourself?
I had a question about you, Briala.
I'm an elf, Inquisitor. That should tell you everything you need to know about my life. I'm good at what I do. And so that matters. I will help my people no matter the cost. Let's ask this one first. Who are you exactly?
What's your story? How is an elf invited to the Empress's ball as an ambassador?
Empress Celene and I have history. There was a time when I put my spies at her disposal. She knows my qualifications. We had a falling out. Now we are negotiating to determine whether I return to her side in the war.
That is very interesting. It is. I noticed the top one was "that's very honest." That is incredibly honest.
What do you mean, we had a falling out?
She betrayed me. Turned me over to the guards on a trumped-up charge to save her political reputation. It wasn't personal. It's the game. That's how all Orlesians justify these things to themselves. It wouldn't do to let the court know she had an elven friend.
And what happens if the negotiations fail?
If she doesn't win you back to her side, what do you intend to do?
I have contingency plans. I'm not a child putting all my hopes on a single ball. This evening gives me access to Duke Gaspard. He's challenging. Not as progressive or persuadable as his cousin. But with time and sufficient blackmail, he might work with us.
Yeah, that is remarkably honest.
I'm surprised you'd admit that, considering the circumstances.
I know it's incriminating. Few harbor more resentment against Celene than I. But if she died after inviting me here, the court would certainly pin her death on me. An elf assassinating the Empress? Alienages across Orlais, across all Thedas, would be purged. That cannot happen.
Yeah, I think... Like I said, Aenor isn't a politician. She isn't a spy master. However, I do think she is trying her best in this moment. Think like Josie. Think like Liliana. What would they do in this situation? And I'd like to imagine that over the course of the evening, she is, occasionally checking in with the pair of them, asking them for advice and asking them for their perspective. Gaspard, he's a warmonger. He's a warmonger, and I don't think Aenor wants to have anything to do with him. Aenor wants Briala to succeed. She could do a lot of good work. And I think Aenor is also like, well, Celene is the Empress. We have no reason to knock her off her perch. She is, like, if the Council of Heralds decided that she is the Empress, then she's the Empress. Who are we to disagree with that? She's also a diplomat, a peacemaker. All of those things sound really good to Aenor. But like I said, Celene is on her own. She needs an ally. And Briala, despite the resentment she seems to have, she does seem to want to work with Celene. And so I think Aenor, like, the cogs in her head are turning. Like, can I try and help that along? Can I try and push that, perhaps? This is a very blunt question. And she damn near confirmed it. Go on.
I've been told you were romantically involved with the Empress.
I didn't take you for a gossip monger, Inquisitor. I suppose your spies have already briefed you, so there's no point in pretending. Yes, Celene and I were lovers once, but we've gone our separate ways now.
If I may be blunt, the relationship between Briala and Celene, it was so incredibly toxic. Celene was an abusive partner to Briala. I don't mean physically, I mean mentally and emotionally. They grew up together as children, and something that Celene would do is she would put her arm next to Briala's and basically make fun of her for how much darker her skin was. Whether Briala has been whitewashed in Inquisition, from the books, I don't want to say, but that was something that Celene would do with her when she was younger, basically making fun of her for her skin color. They grow up, and basically what happens is that Briala's parents are killed. Celene kind of says, "Oh, don't worry, I can be your shoulder to cry on," and they fall in love, and Briala feel like, "Oh, she treated me so nicely after my parents died. That was so good of her, ba ba ba," and all the while, Celene is using her for her spy network that she builds up. And eventually, Briala learns that many years prior, there was a purge on her alienage. And that's how her parents were killed. They were killed in the purge. Or at least that's what Briala believed. However, she learns that Celene organized the purge, and her parents, who were servants, overheard the plan, and thus they had to be gotten rid of. And so Celene and Lady Mantilon, the Dowager in the courtroom, they planned the assassination of Briala's parents. And that, along with the fact that Celene betrays her, is what causes them to break up. And on a personal level, I don't think Briala and Celene should get back together. I think it is... You're sending a woman into an abusive relationship. It's terrible. But like I said, I prefer to go with the roleplay. And Aenor has absolutely no knowledge of what Celene and Briala's relationship was like, or what their romantic relationship was like, or the drama with the assassination of her parents. Aenor has no idea about any of that. So whilst I know, I can't allow that to affect my my judgment, sadly. So boo. Great. Yeah, let's ask about the talks.
I want to know more about the peace talks.
Oh, apparently not. Whoops. Yeah, I think for right now, like I said, the cogs in Aenor's head are turning. She's trying to think if there's a way that she can ally Briala and Celene. And right now, we don't really have anything, so we're going to keep our cards to our chest. Yeah, we'll talk later.
We'll speak more later, Ambassador.
Another time, Inquisitor.
Indeed.
What is Lady Pentecost
Do you
wearing?
enjoy music, Commander?
Everyone enjoys music, madam.
I see her! Way!
Mistress Nightingale, what a pleasure to see you again. You look radiant.
Marquis, it's been far too long. How's your family in Valchevin?
No complaints, my dear, no complaints. You must come to the chateau to see the girls. They will be overjoyed.
Oh, I've missed them very much. Little Sylvie must be 10 now, no?
11, and already up to my elbow. Oh, how they grow.
Perhaps I shall call on you soon.
Excellent. Now I must dance with the Dowager. It was lovely to see you, my dear.
Aw, that's nice. Liliana's getting to see old friends.
Look at Lady Cambian's slippers. Trimmed with pearls. And emeralds. And those buckles. Toss her into the lake and she'll sink right to the bottom. What a disaster.
Oh, and again, this is a reference to Dragon Age Origins. Liliana liked to talk about shoes, and we could gift her some blue satin slippers.
There's a Tevinter assassin on the loose and you're concerned about buckles on shoes. Everyone needs a hobby. Besides, you can learn a great deal about a person from their clothing. Gold and jewels on a dancing slipper. A slipper is easily lost and finds itself in the dust and dirt. She is unconcerned with the possibility of losing the shoe or soiling it. A vulgar display of wealth. But Lady Cambian's family has recently lost most of its holdings. They have their title, but little else. So, how did Cambian acquire such a grand shoe, What has she done? Who has she bedded? These are all useful questions, no?
I like that. I really like that. I remember when Origins came out, I remember a lot of people complaining about Liliana because, like, oh, she's a girly girl and she's into fashion and they're playing so many negative stereotypes, you know, like grumble, grumble. And then in Inquisition, when you ask her about it, she's like, oh, shoes are nice, but I'm coming at this from a spy perspective. Like, oh, she's got these very nice shoes. But her family's holdings. I like the explanation. I like that detail. Yeah, she does seem different here. She seems more at ease.
You're different here than in Skyhold. More approachable, perhaps. This is Halam Shiral, Inquisitor. This is the Imperial Court. This is the beating heart of the Great Game. Of course, everyone is wearing a mask. I learned this very young. I was still a girl when I attended my first ball. All this, the smiles, the small talk, it is a dance. And like any dance, it can be learned. For some of us, it has become so familiar that the steps may be performed in our sleep.
And who do you think we should support?
Who do you think the Inquisition should support?
What we need most of all is a stable Orlais. Either Celene or Gaspard can give us that.
She has no preference either way. Again, Aenor is thinking, yeah, we need a stable Orlais, but Celene is more likely to give us that in the long term, but she needs support. She needs backing.
I found this out. I'm not sure of its value.
Very interesting. It may not help our investigation, but we can put it to use. A little more dirt like this, and we might have some leverage in the court. If you find more, let me know.
Well, hey, anything to report?
Have you seen anything interesting?
Oh yes. Halam-Shiral is lousy, with scandals and scheming. But no sign of our Tevinter infiltrator, I'm afraid.
Okay.
I should go. Be on your guard.
I always am.
And, woo! Nice! 69, eh? Excellent. I approve.
I still remember the day they came to tell me that my second husband, Philippe, was thrown from his horse.
God, the doubt. She's had so many husbands.
Lady Inquisitor.
Yes, you're available to talk now. What do you think of the ball? Seen anything interesting? Yeah. One of the, like, a common saying in Orlais is, if you want to play the game, you have to dance with the Dowager. Again, I would assume that either Liliana or Josephine, or maybe even Vivienne has, told Aenor that, like, hey, at some point you need to go ask the Dowager for a dance. So, whilst it's on her mind...
Would you care to dance, Lady Mantillon?
You, Inquisitor, are a delight. One does not often find foreigners so well versed in the game. But you have other dances to perform first. Perhaps you will save me a dance for later?
Again, I wouldn't exactly say that that is Aenor being well versed in the game. I would say that that is her remembering what Vivienne told her earlier. Yeah, what do you think of the ball?
I'd like your opinion of this gathering, milady.
It's doomed to fade, of course. Celene knows that. At least it should be amusing. We haven't had such a menagerie at court in living memory.
And have you seen anything interesting?
Have you noticed anything odd this evening?
Too few Imperial guards stand in attendance, my dear. A shame. They are so pleasantly decorative.
There aren't as many guards as there should be. Why aren't you more concerned about that, madam? I know you don't know about the assassin, but why isn't that odd or concerning?
Good evening, milady.
Hey, we're up to 74 now. Nice. Considering we're doing pretty good with court approval, do you have anything to say about that, Vivienne?
Don't worry so much, my dear. I'll be ready when the time comes to strike.
Okay. Okay, fair dues.
Be ready to act when I give the signal.
Always, my dear.
Okay, we have spoken to everyone. We've had a chat with Briala.
The Inquisitor to be so well versed in the game.
She speaks for the Maker, and he knows all. Of course she knows the game.
Again, it's not that she knows the game, it's just that she acquired a load of blackmail material. I think that suits Aenor. I think that suits her. She was nervously walking around being like, oh god, what do I do? What do I do? But she heard shit. She heard all of the gossiping and was just like, Liliana, help me. Help me out here, girl. I can't cope with this. I can't deal.
Is that the Inquisitor? Do you think she's pretty?
God damn. I think those are the Delancers. You can't tell me otherwise. I think they're the Delancers. Being bitchy in the back. Okay. Now then, yes, we have to enter the servants' quarters. Also, whilst I remember... do you have anything new?
Emissaries to KallistaPlays have yet to return. I doubt we'll find them alive.
So Balin decided to reach out to them after all?
Not directly. The emissaries came from the Merchant Guild, but the expedition was financed by the king.
I'm not gonna lie, I would imagine that Arten maybe pushed her little brother a little bit, just like, hey, like, we need to get friendly with Kalsharok. They're important. You know, if you get the opportunity, like, do something, finance an expedition or something, but you've got to do it. I do imagine that Arten, you know, gives advice to Balin, you know, not frequently, you know, only if he asks for it. Yeah, that is still locked. Just checking. I might as well. Hello. Oh yeah, that's the plaque about the king, yeah. Or emperor, rather. Now then, yes. I feel... You know what? I'm gonna put in a save right here, just in case this all goes tits up. Oh, actually, you know what? I'm almost at the end of this episode. So you know what? I'm gonna end right here. In the next one, we go check out the servants' quarters. But until then, please remember to like if you enjoyed, leave a comment below. And if you wanted to subscribe, it would be very much appreciated. I've been Callista. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next episode.